Hey everyone, it's Lisa here, and I'm here today with the lovely Karen Milward. She is the most amazing consultant. She's a trailblazer for Indigenous affairs, and you're a Yoda Yoda woman. So, very excited to have you here. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Karen.
Okay, well, delighted to be here, and thanks, Lisa, for inviting me along. I'm a Yoda Yoda woman, so my family comes from the Echuca, Shepparton, Barmah region of Victoria, but I live on Wurundjeri country, which is in eastern suburbs of Melbourne. I run my own consultancy business, Karen Milward Consulting Services, so nothing, special about that. But I find that people like to connect with who you are, so it's easier if you have your name in your business, I guess, in consulting anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you've had an extensive history of working with government. So was it 15 years
Yes.
of working with government, doing most amazing trailblazing things, and you're also on the chair of Kinaway, a number of other boards, and you're doing all sorts of feasibility studies. So we're going to get into that in a minute.
Yes.
But being a woman in business and being Aboriginal, tell us a little bit about some of the challenges that you faced.
Sure. So I've been running my business for 15 years, and when I first started out, I had clients where I was tendering for projects that felt that I couldn't do the same thing as a non-Aboriginal person. So very confronting and challenging for myself as a woman, an Aboriginal person, a young person back then as well, I guess. So I was kind of questioning my ability and my skills at the time when that actually occurred. So yeah.
Yeah, so tell us about, you had a specific instance, didn't you, where you put in all these tenders and written and all this stuff. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, sure. So I tendered for a project. It was actually about reviewing a particular program. It was with government, and I was basically told that they believed that I wouldn't be able to deliver the project because they didn't think that I could actually write.
But you'd submitted all the written work.
Yeah,
really.
that's right. And examples of work as well. So, it was all there.
Yep.
I did everything that they asked for. But there was, just this stereotype view that I couldn't deliver. And that's because I was Aboriginal. And that was really, really confronting for me because I'd never kind of experienced that sort of attitude.
Yeah, and so that was pivotal. At a point you could have given up or you could have pushed through.
Yes,
so what
that's
did you
right.
do?
So I took them to task, I guess, and basically let them know that I can do the job, and went through all my examples. I actually challenged the particular individual who was the person on the panel that felt that I couldn't deliver and had convinced the other panel members that I couldn't either, and then they started coming around. I decided that I would have a one-on-one meeting with the individual to actually talk through what the exact issues were, and I actually wrote a piece, like a paragraph, just to show that I could actually write in front of them. So
hysterical.
so it was quite funny and very challenging too, because I thought, I'm back at school, having to
write on the board.
Yeah, that's right. And it was basically writing an intro piece to the project.
Right.
So how would I go about doing that? So I did it right there and then, and they were like, okay, yes, you can write, even though I'd submitted all these documents. The other thing is that they didn't believe I'd written those documents. So they believed somebody else had written it, somebody else had written my tender for me. So that was really confronting, and I didn't actually know where to go, whether I could put a complaint in, so it was because I was so challenged by it and confronted. So I just decided to keep pushing, and then eventually they gave me the job. It worked out really, really well, and then they formally apologised to me for it, and I said, because it's really wrong, because you'll have that assumption from other Aboriginal people who tender as well.
Exactly. So as a trailblazer, and this was sort of 15 years ago, you've continued to push on that track, which I think, just goes to show how much unconscious bias we have still within Australia, which is surprising today. Now today you get to work on all sorts of things from mandatory training through to feasibility studies. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing now.
Yeah, sure. So I deliver Aboriginal cultural awareness training for corporate clients, for government, not-for-profit, whoever wants it really. And I also do project work, which is things like writing feasibility studies for Aboriginal community organisations who actually want to realise their dreams and aspirations to grow in their communities, which usually means a new facility or a new centre or a new building of some sort. So therefore they have to do the feasibility and make sure that they've exhausted all options and considered those options. So I work with communities to do that. And my latest project is working with DELP, which is Environment, Land, Water and Planning, and Aboriginal Victoria, to work with Aboriginal community organisations on putting their feasibility studies together. And so they get funding to do their feasibility, they put their own team together, and then we actually, I have my team, so I have an architect, I have a financial modeller person, and I have another consultant I work with.
Wow.
So the four of us basically provide advice along the way of their feasibility study journey to make sure that they get all the material they need. We critique what they put together. We make sure consultations that they do are done properly, and making sure they consult with as many people as possible, because that adds weight to the application they put in, and just answer any concerns, because all projects are different, of course, and each community is different. So I've had to, tread carefully through some of the sensitivities around that too. But it's been awesome.
So I asked Karen what she's most proud of, and a big part of it's her work with communities. But tell us about the Wyndham project. That sounds amazing. Yeah.
So in Wyndham, there's quite a large Aboriginal community, which is in the Werribee region, and the community there actually wanted to have their own Aboriginal cultural centre, and wanted to see whether they could actually achieve that. So they went to their local council, and the council said, "Great idea. We think this is, a wonderful thing you want to do." So they put a tender out, and so I put my team together, and we got the project, and we spent a lot of time actually working with the local community, because many people who were interested in actually getting the project happening didn't have governance experience.
Well,
which is a big thing. So so basically we worked with the community on identifying what it was that they wanted in a community centre. We went out and looked at different parcels of land, even just for an interim site while they realised the building being built, and if that was going to happen. And so it was it's been a 5-year journey, and the wonderful thing is that government is actually funding a purpose-built centre, and that'll be open in September, which is awesome.
That's very exciting. And so one of the things that we were talking about, Karen's now on as an ambassador, and I think, for all business owners, Aboriginal and non, collaboration's really key to grow your business. And you're getting in touch with lots of different amazing up-and-coming businesses. So, tell us a little bit about some of the new Aboriginal businesses that you're coming across.
Yeah, sure. So Kinaway, we had our strategic planning day last week, and we were talking about the types of members that we actually have, and the different businesses that people are involved in. And I'm finding that we're seeing a lot of young people in our community actually realising their business talent and wanting to get support to actually start up their business, get advice on all sorts of things, whether it's accounting, whether it's graphic design, how they market themselves, social media. They're all over that because they're young people and they know how to do that. But sometimes it's just about tweaking it and targeting the right market as well for the businesses that they have. So one young lady who I've known for quite some time, who is working in different organisations, wanted to start her own business, and she's had the idea for a long time, and then finally was able to realise it, which is having an ethical clothing label and making clothing for children out of proper materials that are considered across your checklist of what is ethical. And so we've connected her up with other people to help grow that business, and she's doing really well. So I'm really happy that that's happening, because we can get disillusioned, and if we have to wait too long sometimes, we just think, oh, it's too hard, and we give it up. And there's a talent that's not not happening. So we need to
Yeah.
actually support that.
And we were just talking before about how so many corporates are trying to get more women suppliers and Aboriginal suppliers, and so maybe there's opportunities for collaborations going forward there. And not, you know, quite often people who maybe have, I don't know, maybe 60% of what's required are there. So, you know, ladies, look for opportunities to band up with one another.
Absolutely, and we're always looking for that type of support. We're a really small community. In Victoria, we're a really small community of Aboriginal people. 65% of our Aboriginal population is aged under 25. So when you look at it that way, we have to nurture the entrepreneurship of young Aboriginal people. So we've got lots of different things in place that help support those dreams of being in business, but it's also, you know, letting people know that it's really hard being in business and it's a lot of work, and you're contributing
It's fun.
a lot. It's fun. It's fun. Yes,
That's right.
that's right. So yeah, so it's just, you know, being realistic
Okay.
about something. Yeah.
So thank you very much, Karen, for coming on board. We're delighted to have you on board as an ambassador, and I think, you know, for all of us to shed some of our own biases, I think this will be very good.
Yeah.
So look forward to new and exciting conversations.
Thanks, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Looking forward to it.